NCase M1 version 6.1 installed with an ASRock B550 Gaming ITX AX Sapphire graphics card. It's the 5600 XT, also a Corsair SF750 power supply. There's the top. It just looks like an NCase M1. We're going to peel it back a little bit. Here's the rear I/O. Both side covers and the top cover removed. We're going to take a look at the top and also the back side of the motherboard area. Here's the top with the Corsair SF750, also the ASRock B550 Gaming ITX AX. There's no DIMMs that I have on hand, so I have not installed the CPU yet either. But I'll have a look at some of this I/O. There was a question about the postcode LEDs. I'll take a look further. We'll dig into that. On the rear of the motherboard, you have the M1 slot there that is accessible. No worries there. And also the power pins for the power supplier right there. Focusing on the case from the build side, we got the graphics card right there. Power is not an issue as far as running it. There's plenty of room there for your cabling on this particular graphics card, the Sapphire 5600 XT. The BIOS select switch is easy to get to. It is right there. One more look at the rear I/O. Right there. That third slot could be mounted with something, possibly more connectors or whatever have you maybe. But I was thinking it's possible you could take that M1 slot on the rear and some sort of PCI header, and you could expose those PCI lanes to an adapter card. Serial ATA connectors and that power supply. You think, how does that work? Well, just about what it looks like. If you want to change out that serial ATA connector, which is a right angle connector, what you have to do is you have to move this power supply. There's zero clearance between it and the plug that's plugged into the edge connector on the motherboard there. Thankfully it's kind of easy on the NCase M1. There's a screw here, screw there, and there. So 3 screws, and you can swivel that out of the way and change that connector, which is fine. You know, unless you're changing it a whole bunch, I don't see why you would need that to be any different. This arrangement, I think, is the one that is used by default on the NCase M1 version 5. And for the 6.1, they've also added a front position where this goes rotated that way. I haven't done anything with that yet. I just wanted to see if all stock, if you could install this, and you can, but in order to change out those serial ATA connectors, you would have to move this power supply to do so. The graphics card does droop some, so I will be coming back and installing that recommended bracket to support the graphics card on that side. I haven't done anything with that M1 there, but that's where we're at. All the front panel I/O, though, it all has a home. It's all plugged in here. There's a question about the LEDs for the status debugging. I don't see anything. There are some naked connections here. If I recall right, there was one that was not hooked up for the speaker PC beep, and then I think there's some other USB stuff on there. Next thing I'm going to do is to remove the graphics card so you can see better what's going on with the motherboard. And to do that, one of the things that I recommend is to actually remove these protective port covers so that the graphics card can slide out easier. And another thing that's notable is that this lever here does actually work. It does lever over to help you remove that graphics card. Okay, graphics card is out. You'll have to excuse my shaky camera work. I'm holding the studio light with one hand. And here is the situation with that edge connector for the serial ATA. Right there. There is no clearance. However, it does fit, and it does fit without any issue. The other thing of note is that on this corner, on the very corner there, you can see that header with the two pins. That's your CMOS reset, and it is completely obscured by the graphics card when the graphics card is installed. I did not see yet any status or debugging LEDs so far, but there's a lot of tiny parts on here. I have no idea. In order to install additional SATA cables, I'll move this light here. What I would recommend is to actually move that power supply to a different location so it's not an issue, or on the NCase M1 there's a way to actually move the power supply bracket. There's two screws coming up, 1, 2, and then one in the corner from the top down, and you can move that power supply out of the way to get to your serial ATA connectors. Let's do it. Let's put the CPU in there. The 3700X. The CPU and CPU cooler are in. No graphics card. And now when I push the front panel power connector, we should get a fan spin. There's fan spin. So maybe it's on. We'll have to put a graphics card in and see what's up. But we're back. The video card is installed. The support bracket on the NCase M1 version 6.1 is installed. And I've got the display port connected up to my monitor here. I don't really think that anything's going to happen because there's no memory installed. I'm waiting on parts, but let's try it, see if anything happens. And we'll try the front panel connector for power, so we get fan spin and some lighting. Well, it doesn't tell me a whole lot. Let's try picking this guy up. And is there anything on the back of the board to tell you about the memory? I don't see it. Sorry for the focus. Yeah, I just don't see any status LEDs that tell you an error condition. That was a really great question. I don't see anything telling me that I'm missing those memory sticks.